I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Puck back third down on the 8. In trouble. Got a block behind him. Gonna throw on a run. Complete to the 25. To the 30. Lindsey's got 35, 40. Lindsey's got 45, 50. 45, 30. Run, Lindsey. 25, 20, 50. 10, 5. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby. It's the Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. Lots to do, lots to say, lots of nerves to rake. And I can't wait. Y'all can text the show at any time. The number is 919-912-2256. As mentioned, nice to have you with us. How about those Colts, man? A primetime performance in a primetime situation in a game they absolutely had to have. They take down the number 1 seeded New England Patriots on a Saturday night in Indy, in which basically it was nuts. And Jonathan Taylor deserves some MVP votes. If any game highlighted that, this is the one that did. I bring in my partner, Cole Johnson. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Oh, you mentioned Jonathan Taylor again?
Yes, I am.
What did I tell you about that Colts offensive line?
Nasty, mean, brutal, and the Patriots found all that out the hard way.
And let me tell you something else about Jonathan Taylor. Now, that nastiness for the Colts offensive line, that's contagious because the thing about Jonathan Taylor that you don't discuss, yeah, he's a wonderful runner. He has great vision. He has a great burst when he's out in the open field. But he's a 3-down back.
Yes, he is.
Not because he knows how to pick up yards on each of the first, second, and third downs, but he could pick up blitzes.
Oh, he did a great job picking up blitzes all night, especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you need a running back that can pick up a blitz and help buy more time for your quarterback when he drops back to pass. So that makes a guy like him even more valuable than just him toting the rock. He had a wonderful game Saturday.
All around.
And yeah, the stat you're about to say to him, say about him, definitely. But I look at those things and say, yeah, he was on his bag that game.
The Colts were on their bag that game. The Colts were absolutely on Saturday night. Got up 20-0. The Patriots made their way back into the game, but when you needed a play, the offense made the play. And when you needed to close the game out, Kevin Burkhardt had the call on Fox. My buddy Matt Taylor had the call Saturday night on ESPN Indy. The question was abound. Can the Colts close out a big game? They closed out a big game Saturday night.
Closes out a big game, but they closed it out in emphatic fashion. And they closed it out in their style.
Grand style, 67-yard touchdown.
This is a team that really believes in the lunch pail work ethic. They believe in just getting the hands dirty. Although I know they play, they play on synthetic turf. I know. They play with synthetic grass with rubber underneath, but they have that lunch pail mentality where the hands get dirty, the jersey gets dirty, and you would have to basically bury them in the dirt to defeat them when they're on, and they want you to be more physical than they are. They dare you to be more physical than they are.
They dare you to be more physical than they are.
Yeah,
and Darius Leonard Darius Leonard was a madman Saturday night.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say, and that's just the offense. The defense, man, that was my issue with them. It wasn't even their offense. So I figured, okay, they'll get it together because they got a running game, and when their offensive line is healthy, they're great.
Yep.
But the defense, if they can get healthy and they get their cohesion together like they did last year, I think they'd be great. But it looked like they were suffering from a little bit of injuries and continuity issues and confidence issues.
Yeah. They were wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, wildly inconsistent. And I thought shades of it came back against the Bucks, but starting with the game they played in Miami, it looks as though that unit is playing well, and that unit is looking for bigger and better things.
That unit is lit up. Unit is lit up.
And you mentioned the guy that has to lead the way, Darius Leonard.
27-17, the final. That block punt also set the stage. So all three phases Saturday night, the Colts were ready.
Yeah, kudos to special teams, no question.
Now,
because that was a wonderful block.
Oh, man. We were watching it, and when that block punt happened, we all went nuts. We all went crazy. And it's just great. It's just great to see the Colts perform at that high of a level, A, when they needed to, and B, in a primetime broadcast.
Yeah. That was an effort I think this iteration of the Colts needed to have. They need to have that stage. They need to have the opponent they had. And they need to come away with that type of performance because now
they needed it.
They needed it. They needed it, and they played like they needed it. And now we walk away from that game talking about Jonathan Taylor. Is he a legit MVP candidate?
Is he nothing? He is a legit MVP candidate. Now, I already know how the voting's going to go. We both have discussed it. I discussed it with some folks at work. But doggone it, Jonathan Taylor deserves to be in the MVP conversation, period.
And I'm not saying this because I want to engender smiles to your wife, from your wife. But Jonathan Taylor, to me, is the MVP of the National Football League this year, right now.
He is.
He is. He is. Because, it's because of him that the Colts even have a shot of making the playoffs. And they have an outside shot of still winning the AFC South.
And still winning the AFC South. Because Tennessee shockingly lost to Pittsburgh.
Oh God, that game was. I saw that. I saw that game yesterday. The Titans should be ashamed. The Titans offense should be ashamed of themselves. They should be.
They had a sitting duck on the road.
Yeah. Yes. The Steelers offense sucks.
Yep.
There's not another way to describe it. They're horrible. They're bad. It's just, they literally are stuck in cement. They're terrible.
And somehow 19 points beat the Titans.
And it was basically turnovers on back-to-back possessions by the Titans in their own territory. So I definitely give the Steelers credit. And TJ Watt, stud and a half.
Yes.
Ooh, man.
TJ Watt scared the Titans.
Yeah,
on
he
Sunday.
Did.
Scared them.
All day. Yeah. You could tell the Titans, they're missing Derrick Henry because that team is him or bust.
They're stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
They're stuck in the mud, and they get another running team on Thursday that has their act together. We'll discuss that game and that team during our next segment. Now, what the hell happened in Tampa last night?
Okay, here's what happened.
I was going to save that for the next segment, but since we're going to be talking football all day, may as well get to it now.
All right, here's what happened in Tampa. I think people forget you have a team in the Saints who seems to have the Bucs number. I know you're going to say to me, well, 11 months ago, that wasn't the case. The Bucs went to New Orleans. They beat the Saints. Yes, they did. But here's why they beat the Saints. They beat the Saints because they had a quarterback at the time who could, like the Steelers now with Roethlisberger, could only throw 5-yard passes. So when the Bucks defense knew, oh, well, okay, well, he's not going to throw anything further than 5 yards. They had to bring in Jameis Winston to throw something deeper.
Yeah.
Or Taysom Hill to throw something deeper than 5 yards. No, the passing game is simple. Okay, well, then we'll just keep things in front. And then a couple of those routes, because he loves to throw in the flat, we'll jump them.
Mm-hmm.
So they got 2 of those, and then they end up having a fumble. They coaxed out of Cook, the tight end then at the time. Now he's with the Chargers.
Yeah.
And the Bucks feasted on the turnovers they generated, and that's how they won. Otherwise, if that wasn't the case, if the turnovers didn't happen, the Saints would have won that playoff game. Yeah. So you're talking about a team that in 2019, 2020, and this year, because of last night, they swept the season series from the Bucks. The Bucks 0-6 in the last 6 games against the Saints. You have matchups that for some reason a team just seems to be better than the other. I'll introduce the 49ers both ways. The 49ers seem to be snake bitten with the Seahawks, but they seem to have the Rams number. Mm-hmm. And it's just that way. Styles makes fights, and the Saints seem to just befuddle the Bucks. No matter what, no matter where, they just seem to befuddle them. No matter what type of game they play.
And they shut them out. 9-0. They shut them out.
No matter what type of game they play, they seem to befuddle the Bucks because they had a shootout in the Superdome,
mm-hmm.
and Brady was supposed to be on the way back, bringing the team on the way back, and got a lead. The Saints got a field goal to take the lead back, and then Brady threw a pick 6 to seal the game. In this one, this was like the page that the Saints defensive coaches took out of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Of the Giants in the 2007 season when they played the Super Bowl. Active on the front, have the linebackers show blitz every now and then.
Yep.
But drop back in coverage to take away those crossing routes he loves to throw, or the seam routes he likes to throw the Gronk down the middle.
Took them all away.
And it took all of that away. And you'd say, well, okay, well that leaves the secondary. Well, the secondary basically did the Bill Belichick school. Do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Do not blow your assignment, and they didn't blow one assignment last night.
Not in the 60
So when
minutes.
you have a secondary that seems to not blow their assignments, and they play man to man very well, and they do not try to subscribe to stopping by holding or pass interference a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a linebacking core that can aid the defensive front in either batting down passes that come their way, or when a receiver crosses and catches like Chris Godwin and gets lit up, or when you actually attempt to run like with Leonard Fournette,
mm-hmm.
and he gets lit up, he gets helicoptered. When you show that physicality all the way around, and then you force them on 3rd and long situations, and Brady just gets tattooed on 3rd and long.
All night long, he got tattooed.
You rent space in his head, and that's what happened. And in the play of the game, that's exactly what happened, because Brady, I think he could have stayed in the pocket just a little bit longer,
mm-hmm.
and he could have maybe slid a little bit to the left and found a throwing lane. But he decided to tuck the ball and run because he figured, well, linebackers are taking everything that I'm throwing away. I can't really throw it deep, so I might as well tuck the ball and get the first down. Here comes Cameron Jordan from behind, stripped him clean. And they were at the Saints 15 when that happened. So they were on their way, because they were only down 6-0. They were on their way to scoring a touchdown.
And getting the lead.
Just getting the lead, and then that strip messed all that up. And it showed to me, I'm like, wow, the Saints and the way they constructed their game plan rented space in Brady's head.
Godwin out for the regular season. Evans got injured. Fournette got injured. I don't wish injury on anyone.
No.
But their main weapons are gone.
Gone.
And Brady shut out for the first time, thanks to that critical Broncos fan for this stat. Brady shut out for the first time since 2006 against the Dolphins. Arians shutout loss for the first time since 2017. That was against the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady being cocky as a runner cost him the football and cost the Buccaneers the game. because
Agreed.
that was the lead for them. That was the lead.
Agreed. Because all he had to do was, because it was like 3rd and 5, I think, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5.
Mm-hmm.
All he had to do, like I said, was just basically get away from the pressure, do basically just a lateral slide to the left, away from the pressure, and find a throwing lane.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have to change what the linebacking core and the secondary was doing, because they were taking away the throwing lanes in the pocket for him.
Yep.
Well, you create different throwing lanes. You do that, I'm sure Brady could have found somebody open.
It's called climbing the pocket.
Yeah.
It's called climbing the pocket.
And this isn't foreign to Brady. So that's what made me say, the Saints rented space in Brady's head.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of renting space in the head, got a lot more about that during this hour. Hey, folks, join Snowman in the Morning on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/SIT Morning. The 49ers are alive and kicking and well. We'll explain when y'all get back. Monday edition thereof. And for those of you, and there are many throughout the season that pronounce the 49ers dead, that said Jimmy Garoppolo needed to go. That said...
Oh, he still needs to go.
That told me, look forward to next year. All of y'all can line up and bite me. The 49ers are not only alive, they are well. And I said this even after they lost to Seattle. All they need to do is get in. That's it.
Yeah.
All they need to do is get in. And for those of you clamoring for Trey Lance or another quarterback, shut up. I said all season long, Jimmy Garoppolo is the man in San Francisco. And I continue to say he's the man in San Francisco. Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan are perfect together. Not to mention they're winners. And after what I saw yesterday against the Falcons, all y'all, like I said, can line up and bite me. 31-13. Garoppolo throws for 200 plus, but that running game got on track thanks to Jeff Wilson. And I got this big old goofy smile on my face. You want to talk about a team that is nasty up front on both sides of the ball. You want to talk about a team that gets after it, that rediscovered their attitude from 2 years ago, that though they are fighting for their playoff lives, yes, they are fighting for their playoff lives. The 49ers, given the remainder of their schedule, the Titans, the Texans, and they go to Tennessee on Thursday. They get 10 days off, and they host Houston, and they go to Los Angeles to play the Rams. I could conceivably see them running the table. I've said it for 4 weeks. They had a hiccup against Arizona. They had a hiccup against Seattle. They can run the table, get to 11 wins, and get in. I believe they have basically sealed their wild card spot right now. And it's at the right time that the 49ers are starting to peak. Don't you get the feeling, sir, that this is Tampa Bay from last year?
It can be. And if they can use their game in Seattle as an impetus for them to say, wait a minute, we need to wake up and we need to actually get back to who we are, then they will be. Because you've seen a lot of football in your time.
I have.
And I've seen a lot of football in my time. What's the one thing that travels no matter where you play? You could be dome, it could be warm weather, it could be cold weather. What travels the best in January?
A running game.
Mm-hmm.
A running game.
A team that can be physical offensively inches you that much closer to a trip to the Super Bowl. And you could have an okay defense. You can have an okay pass rush. If you have a good pass rush, which the 49ers do, that's a bonus.
Mm-hmm. A stellar pass rush.
A pass rush. That's a bonus. Because they can make up for a multitude of sins. Just look at the 2000 Ravens team. Mm-hmm. Because all they had basically was a running game
and a defense.
In
particular, a pass rush. And it carried them all the way to Tampa for a Super Bowl.
Yes. They had a pass rush and a man who could back up everything else if the quarterbacks could actually get beyond the pass rush and throw.
Mm-hmm.
They were to run and they would pursue because that team was fast.
Yeah.
They were
very
athletic.
Fast.
And they made it difficult for teams that tried to stretch their defense and run outside of contain. And they would not run up the middle. They had dogs that pursued them and would actually just tackle them, and sometimes tackle them for losses because
mm-hmm.
they would get to the sideline faster than a running back
really
would.
Quick.
Yeah,
they would get to them real quick.
What the 49ers possess is what the 49ers possess is something that I think a lot of people just seem to gloss over, and that is they can be physical on both lines of scrimmage. And if you can dictate tempo on both lines of scrimmages, that is when you can have trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the teams that are at the forefront in the NFC, the Packers, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, which that's shaky.
We will get to the Cardinals before this hour is up. We will get to the Cardinals because after what I saw in Detroit, it just confirmed my suspicion. But this mm-hmm. is all about the 49ers.
Yeah, them and the Bucks. Mm-hmm. We have seen all four of these teams at some point during the season, and we've seen it in the Cowboys, Bucks, and Cardinals as of recent. Teams that seem to struggle playing in the trenches.
Yep.
For some reason, the Cowboys forget that they actually have a team built to run.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks,
a team built for the trenches.
Right.
A team built for A team built for the trenches. And you said it best, my friend. A team built to run.
Yeah, they're built to run, but they seem to forget this because they want so desperately for Dak Prescott to pull an MVP hardware, and it's going to be to their detriment.
Mm-hmm.
And you have teams like the Cardinals who they just want Kyler Murray to have the ball in his hand far too much,
far too often.
And then there is the Bucks where they actually have good running backs, and I think they want to run the ball, but you have a head coach in Bruce Arians. I love him. He's a wonderful players coach.
Yep.
You know this very well because he filled in for Chuck Pagano
mm-hmm.
in Indy. He is enamored with passing the ball too often, too much for my liking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that puts too much weight on Tom Brady.
You know what the weird thing is? The 49ers they have the biggest outside shot to win their division. I just want them to get in the playoffs, and they took a big, big step closer in getting to January.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that in a minute.
But
and then you have the Packers who, when they want to run, they run, but they want Aaron Rodgers to be the hero so bad.
And all those teams, look at their quarterbacks: Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray. What do all four of those quarterbacks have in common? They want the quarterback, the teams want their quarterback to be the hero instead of building a solid, brutal running game.
And that is what is to the 49ers' favor.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can go to Green Bay, they can go to Dallas, they definitely can go to the desert, and they can go to Tampa and win against any of those four teams in all four of those conditions easily.
Yep. Matter of fact, for people looking forward like myself, the last two times the 49ers faced Green Bay in the playoffs in Green Bay, they beat them.
Mm-hmm. Now, as for the Cardinals, you had people like Stephen A. Smith claim that they were the best team in the league because their record said so.
Wait, have I ever made that claim?
But
have you and I ever made that claim about the Cardinals?
No. Just because they had the best record didn't mean they were the best team, and they have some impressive pieces, but the way they are constructed, they have a hard time stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not Kyler Murray, they don't run much at all.
They really don't.
And when you have a team that has a trouble stopping the run and a team that can't run to boot, or they need help with the running game and they use the quarterback to do it, that's recipe for disaster. Because
that's a big recipe for disaster.
Because last year, the Cardinals were 6-3. They were riding high in November, and people were saying, well, I think this team actually has what it takes to be a playoff team, and then they fall off the face of the earth.
They fall off the wagon.
It was as if
they fall off the wagon.
And then I had to look as to why they fell off the wagon, and I looked and I saw this common denominator. He wears number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, it looks like Kyler last year hit the wall in November. So we fast forward to this year. They get to what they think they get to 9-1
mm-hmm.
before they eat. No, they get to 9-1 before they eat it.
Yep.
And then Kyler has to heal up. And I looked at the schedule and I'm like, oh, it's November. The team is starting to hit the wall because he's hit the wall.
Yep.
And here we are. They're now 10-4. And now they are 1 game ahead of the Rams in the NFC West. They're 2 games ahead of the 49ers. And they could say, well, we got the season series from the 49ers. We swapped them.
Mm-hmm.
They could say that. They can't say that about the Rams because they split with them.
Yep.
The thing is, the Cardinals, they have a trip to Jerry World week 17.
Yes, they do.
I'm not so sure if they can come away with a W there. I am not sure about that. And I think the Cardinals are to the point where they're struggling so bad to where they probably could slide all the way back to where that 49ers-Rams game could be flexed to be your final game of the year.
And in a strange fashion, decide the division.
Yeah, it'd be, and it could be for the NFC West title. Yeah.
It could decide the division because should the 49ers run the table and win all 3 of their remaining games, all that we need to do is for the Rams to lose to Seattle and Arizona lose out. And with the way Arizona is playing right now, you said it best, partner. They have hit the wall, and they have hit the wall hard. And they're minus DeAndre Hopkins for the remainder of the year. DeAndre Hopkins is gone.
He's my favorite receiver in the game, and he's gone. That target, that massive talent is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell me that doesn't talk about renting space like you said earlier in the last segment.
Yeah,
renting space in Cardinals' heads, especially Kyler Murray's. How could it not? I mean, look,
because
Christian Kirk is a good receiver. AJ Green's a good receiver. DeAndre Hopkins is next level.
DeAndre Hopkins is the man, okay?
Yes.
DeAndre Hopkins is the man. I will say as such.
Yeah.
But Kyler Murray's got problems without DeAndre Hopkins. And yesterday, the Cardinals allowed 30 points. The Lions haven't scored 30 points at home since week 1, where they scored 33 and still lost to San Francisco. And the first win to score 30 points or more at home since 2019 against the Giants. Figure that one out. Figure that one out.
What can I say about this game? Oh, okay. I'll just be blunt.
Please do.
The Cardinals, they reverted back to being 5-year-olds and they just pissed in the bed. I mean, I just don't understand.
That's about how it goes. Visit the Snowman in the Morning store. Go to snowmaninthemorning.com/store. And I welcome Eric Wilson to the conversation as we're talking all kinds of football. Good morning, Eric. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, gentlemen. Good morning. Happy holidays to everybody. What's going on?
Happy holidays to you. This is Christmas week, and I didn't say at the top of the show we're going to be bouncing around time-wise. Speaking of key games.
Oh, yes.
Eric, your Eagles have won.
Mention the Eagles. Yes.
Your Eagles have a big one coming up.
Our game should have been played yesterday. That's what I'm going to say about that. The NFL.
Ooh, you sound a little hot, my man.
NFL got a little soft spot for Tyler Heineke. But don't get me wrong, the brother's a good quarterback.
Right.
But, I think the NFL has a soft spot for him with the holidays and said, we want to make sure Tyler gets his flowers and gets his spotlight this time of year because he may not get it moving forward. So we're going to push back the game and put him, hopefully he's okay, and, hopefully he doesn't have COVID and he's all right. He's got a negative test.
Right.
So we're going to push it out to Tuesday because we don't like the Eagles because, they're just a team that doesn't do much and hasn't won anything in the last 5 years. So the hell with the Eagles, So, yeah, I'm a little salty about this.
And you should be. And you should be.
I love it.
They want they want to discard the Eagles so badly.
Oh, I'm loving it. You got the black strip paint below your eyes. Oh man. You got the Kelly Green on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Fly Eagles fly in his ears.
You got Fly Eagles fly playing 24/7.
I just, listen, I understand that we are in a situation right now to where everybody has to take the necessary precautions.
Right.
To make sure, especially in the NFL, that they are still able to do their job, okay? And I respect the fact that injuries are a part of the game. We recognize that. Mm-hmm. You now have to throw in that COVID is a factor in this game.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yes, it
So,
is. Yes, it
but
is.
we all have a responsibility. Does that mean that everybody needs to suffer because some people are either A, lazy and just don't care, or B, are unfortunate and catch it? Okay? I'm not, listen, I have always said this, I will always say this. I don't care which side of the fence people are on with regard to the vaccine. Okay? But if you work for an organization and that organization is requesting and suggesting that you do this in order to keep pace with not only your team, but with the rest of the league or with your job, okay? You have a choice to make. All right? Now, what you choose to do, again, it's your business. I don't care. But I feel that pushing back the Eagles and the Washington football team to Tuesday hurt the Eagles. Because think about it like this. We are 0-2 in the division right now, okay?
Yeah, you all need
We got
this one,
our asses whooped by Dallas week 3 on Monday Night Football. We got embarrassed. And then in a game 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, when we played the Giants, and we should have won that game, we basically told the Giants, we're going to give you this one. Since we didn't get it done last year for you, we're going to throw you a bone. Okay?
That's how it looked.
So now,
That's how it looked.
So now we're in divisional play. What's that mean? That means we've got Washington twice. We got the Giants again. And then we Dallas. So the only way we are going to get into the playoffs is we have to make a statement. But now you want to push us out and say to us, okay, well, here, go play Washington on Tuesday, and then 5 days later, go play the Giants, and then that following Sunday, go play Washington again, and then find out how you fare against Dallas, even though Dallas is coming to Philly.
Three games in 14
That's what y'all
days.
gonna do?
Three games in 14 days. That's crazy.
Here's your answer to your question, Eric. The answer to your question is C, because you're dealing with an entity in the Shield that wants to never have their money be messed with.
You know what? That critical Broncos fan said the same thing. It's too money grabbing to take on a forfeit. It's too money grabbing to take on a forfeit.
And what made it even worse, and I know you heard this, Eric, and I definitely know you heard it, Brian. The NFL was staunch in their stance back in early September, and they said, you know what? We're not going to have any postponements. If a team simply can't field however many players, we're just going to take it as a forfeit.
And they moved the goalpost.
And then it took the Raiders Browns game for them to say, okay, I think we'll move the goalpost back. Then it extended itself to the Rams Seahawks game, and then of course Washington Eagles. They moved that game back. And it's all because it's a money grab. And I agree with you, Eric. I'm not a fan of Sunday to Thursday games. So the NFL will justify it and say, well, heck, you all do 4-day turnarounds.
Right.
You can do a 5-day turnaround. I don't like it personally.
Nor do I.
Because I personally think teams need at least 6 days to recover from being in 65 car collisions a game, a week on a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Yeah.
On a Sunday.
I agree.
Who knows what injuries occurred during the game?
Right.
Who knows what injuries occurred during the game?
I'm just of the mindset right now that we are in December football. Okay. And everybody knows it's gut check time.
Yeah, it
This
is.
is where you separate the boys from the men. This is where you find out who's going to be that team that has the momentum to move forward and actually be a viable contender in the playoffs.
Say that word again. Say that word again. I could have swore, Eric, you just said momentum.
Yes, he did.
I did.
And speaking of that, that's what I'm loving about the Eagles. It looks as though they're riding some momentum, although they do have hiccups. You mentioned one of them, the Meadowlands loss to the Giants.
Right.
But the guts that I've seen for this team, it reflects on the city, because to me, the Philly fan is one of my favorite fan bases, because they do not want any any player that represents their city to cut any corners.
Right.
They want to see if you have guts, and it's like what you mentioned. They want to see if they have boys they're rooting for, or if they're rooting for men. If they're rooting for boys, they'll boo you. But if they're rooting for men, they'll ride with you even if they lose.
Yep.
Right.
So I'm
That's
seeing
exactly
this team. I'm seeing this team embody the city in which they apply their trade. And man, the future looks bright, but their present looks just as bright too.
But here's my thing: going into this stretch of games that we're going into, we're gonna beat up on each other. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do.
East. Yeah, that's how you do it in this East.
You gonna get quality football over these next 4 weeks when you watch the Eagles, because it's playing the Cowboys, it's playing the Washington football team, it's playing the Giants. So somebody gonna get hurt. Okay,
Somebody's gonna get beat the hell up.
And someone's gonna get beat down.
Someone gonna get hurt. All right, and it's how you get back up. It is how you find a way to push through every single obstacle that is put in front of you. Listen, I had low expectations for my team this year. All right, I understand and I recognize where we're at, what our team looks like from top to bottom. And I've said this once and I'll continually say it. Howie Roseman needs to be fired. Okay? I've said it once and I'll continue to say it. I don't care. Gentlemen, I'll say it right here on Brian Snow in the Snowman in the Morning show.
Say it.
I don't care if we make it back to the dance. I still am going to tell you Howie Roseman needs to be fired. Okay? I'm saying all of that to say this. The resiliency of my team is what we're going to find out is truly about in these next 4 games. And if we should be so fortunate to make it to the postseason, Lord Jesus, I feel bad for the first round matchup that we play against.
Yeah.
I really, truly do. Because we're taking 4 weeks of anger, especially if we come away with a winning record. Now, listen, a lot has to happen. Not much, but stuff has to happen for us to win the division. I don't expect us to win the division. I really don't. I hate to say that because it bothers me to no end, but I have to humble myself and say that team down in Texas, that is not the Texans, is going to win our division. Okay? Which means you get a home playoff game.
Yep.
Lord, if you ever wanted to give me a 2022 late Christmas, early birthday gift,
you
make
beat me
the
to
4
it.
or 5 matchup Dallas against Philly and Jerry World.
Well, I'll say it this way.
I hope that matchup happens.
Because it'd be back-to-back weeks. Go ahead. I'm sorry, please.
No. I will make you smile. Now, if the season were to end today, unfortunately, the Eagles wouldn't make the playoffs.
Exactly.
But if they were to win their game against Washington, they'll inch up there, and I think they'll get the 7th seed. Now, a team that they would face in the first round, if that season were to end after the game that you play against WFT, it would be the team with the star in their helmets, because the Cowboys currently are the number 2 seed in NFC.
No, they would play. Oh, yeah, yes. All right.
They would play Dallas.
Yes.
They would play Dallas.
They would play them. And I want that matchup. I want Philadelphia to get in, and I want them to beat up the Cowboys. Okay?
Because I think you all can do it, personally.
Oh, I know we can.
With the way Dallas is playing right. Listen.
Yeah, but you own that boat woman they gave you in Dallas.
Exactly. We want to go back to the scene of the crime
and commit another one.
Yeah, we want to right that wrong.
And commit another crime and beat the Cowboys in Dallas. Beat them in Jerry World. That critical Broncos fan, with how Dallas is playing on offense, one and done.
I 100% agree.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
It's one and done. It's one and done. I've said all season, I do not and will not believe in that team ever.
It does not make sense to me, guys, that you have a team that's constructed to run the ball, yet they decide to have Dak drop back more than 40 times in a game and throw.
I don't think there's a game where he hasn't dropped back at least 35 times.
I just don't understand it.
I don't think there's a game this season where Dak has not dropped back at least 30 times.
Okay, but here's what I'll say to you. In the beginning of the year, we all had to admit that this team was on his shoulders and that he was doing MVP type things.
True.
After his
It was.
ankle injury or calf injury or whatever it was, I don't know if the mentality is there. Now listen, you got 4 weeks to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because if you don't, people are just going to continually say what you, and everybody else has been saying. You're the walking piece of mediocrity. That's who you are. That's who you are forever going to be. You have to.
That's who
If
they're
you're
always going to
Dak
be.
Prescott, you've got to get it out of your head that you are not the guy that people need to honor and respect. I like Dak Prescott. Let me be very clear about it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the team that he plays for, but I like Dak Prescott. I like what he's about. And so I say all of that to simply say he has got to find a way to clear all the noise out of his head.
Absolutely.
Because you're going into a situation that does benefit you. Because guess what? You got a defense that's going to hold it down for you. And it annoys the ever-loving piss out of me because I hate it. Because Micah Parsons came from my alma mater, Penn State. And I can't, do you know how, I can't take enough showers to wash off that
he was a stud at Penn State, too. Yes,
yeah, he was.
I know.
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
But now he's playing for my arch rival, my mortal enemy, the team that I can't stand.
Mm-hmm.
You could have went to any other team, Micah, any other team. But you wound up going to.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
well, we'll see. We'll see. For me, I don't have anything against any player of the Cowboys. I don't have anything against the organization at all. My disdain is toward the fan base because they're so delusional.
Oh yeah, and I work with three of them. I work with three of them. I love them. I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Mike Aratunuto, Megan Price, and Ruth Kakis. I love them all.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
they are my family. They know I got their back 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else, just all they do is talk. I'm like, y'all, shut up.
Those Cowboy fans that you just mentioned, they're rare.
Yes.
Very rare.
Quite rare.
Oh my gosh.
Quite rare.
I grew up in Houston, and Houston has a whole boatload of Cowboys fans, and they are so delusional.
Sorry.
It's not
I
even
don't know.
funny.
I don't know how that happened, but it did.
Not even funny. Oh my gosh.
I don't know how that happened. This is Eric Wilson joining us here during hour one of the program. Eagles, please win. This is coming from a 49er fan. Please win, because I want y'all to see Dallas and beat them up.
They should win their game tomorrow night. They should win their game tomorrow night.
And shout out to your 49ers, Brian, because my man Tyree who's on the show with me.
Mm-hmm.
He's been giving me grief because I said to him, when I created the show for tonight, shameless plug, Sports Arena, 10 p.m. Make sure y'all check me out, part of the Sideline Sports Network family. One of the topics that we did not talk about was the 49ers.
Oh, he's been giving me grief all year.
But he said to me, he's like, so why aren't we talking about the 49ers tonight? I said, well, and John, our man, John Shear, beat me to it. He's like, that's a Wednesday topic. And I was like, yeah, actually it is, because they play on Thursday, short week. So I was going to kind of give some love to them. But yeah, Tyree, man, say it again. Tuesday's 8:30. That brother, he a 49er fan, but he a closet Kirk Cousins fan too.